The United States has toyed around with all sorts of ideas when it comes to managing nuclear waste, like shooting it into space or burying it in seabeds. But we still don't have a long-term permanent solution for storing so-called high-level radioactive materials. These are the toxic leftovers from things like the plutonium production from Cold War-era atomic bombs. Currently, the government stores high-level waste in facilities around the U.S., like the Hanford Nuclear Reservation in Washington state. Because it's quote-unquote high-level, it has to eventually be disposed of in deep geological repositories, essentially 1,000 feet underground. But that hasn't happened yet, and heaps of the material are sitting around at sites like Hanford, waiting for somewhere to go. Last week, the Department of Energy officially announced a plan they say would speed up the cleanup of these sites. They want to recategorize some radioactive waste from high level to a lower rung. Their proposal is to assign danger level based on current radioactivity, and not how the material was actually produced. So things like nuclear weapons leftovers could be considered a lower risk, and therefore able to be stored in shallow pits, which is less expensive. But critics, ranging from environmental groups to Washington governor and presidential candidate Jay Inslee, have been quick to call the DOE's proposed redefinition an attempt to cut corners. I talked to Jeff Fettis, an attorney for the National Resources Defense Council. So what does this reclassification by the DOE actually do?
The department has given itself the authority to reclassify all most dangerous waste in the world. Now, why that semantic change matters is because if they call it another name and it's no longer high-level waste, that waste no longer has to go down a deep geologic repository. It means they can abandon it in place or ship it for a place that's not designed to accept that waste.
With the acknowledgement that this is incredibly dangerous, does the DOE have a point in trying to speed up the way in which this type of waste is dealt with?
Their point is that it's a lot cheaper if you don't clean it up. And if you call it another name and leave it under a layer of grout, it is a lot cheaper to manage. The plan for years, and the state of Washington has worked really hard to make this happen, along with, by the way, many people at DOE, and that is to vitrify this waste. It means to get the waste from the tanks and turn it into glass rods, which are still going to be super radioactive, but much more manageable and the right thing to put down whole to try and isolate the waste for hundreds of thousands of years. But one of the problems is we don't have the institutional framework to force that long-term practical solution.
Why do you think this is happening now?
Right now, DOE is self-regulating with respect to radioactivity. They can try and do this reinterpretation. We think it's flatly unlawful. Further, we want to see Congress step in with real reform of our radioactive waste laws so that we can get a thorough cleanup with EPA in the states setting the course.
Past attempts at changing the definition of high-level waste have been struck down, but still, the DOE claims their interpretation of high-level waste is in line with disposal practices in other countries, and it would save $40 billion in cleanup costs. But how safe is it? I talked to Rodney Ewing, a professor of nuclear security at Stanford University. Besides cost saving, what are the other reasons that reclassification could be seen as a good step forward?
So the argument someone at the Department of Energy would make is at Hanford, some of the tanks are leaking. So there's a real urgency to move ahead, empty tanks, and have some type of disposal for those wastes.
The DOE is facing a lot of criticism from different environmental groups and different leaders, saying that they are essentially cutting corners to save money. What do you think of that argument?
The reclassification of the waste can be interpreted as cutting the corner, getting around the fact that the Deep Geologic Repository program in the U.S. is not making progress. If we had a geologic repository for high-level waste, there would be no need to reclassify.
Why is the U.S. struggling with finding a long-term solution here?
For a repository program to be successful, one needs to have a technically robust solution, but also one that is accepted by society. In the United States, we have always considered nuclear waste management as only a technical issue and has spent very little time dealing with the social issues.
What is the worst case scenario if this high-level waste isn't properly stored?
In a certain way, one can say we're living the worst case scenario. That is, the tanks are old, some are already leaking, and others will leak in the future.
So how the U.S. will deal with its nuclear waste management is uncertain. For now, the DOE's recent move is to some the start of a real solution to a multi-billion-dollar problem, while to others, the start of an environmental disaster.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.